We are live. Hello, everyone. Today we are so happy to have Miss Marcy with us. Can you guys believe Miss Marcy was a nurse for 40 years? More than 40 years. You don't even look that young, but I'm just, Miss Marcy has been in the field for 40 years. I have a question to ask. Well, before we get into it, tell everybody what you do here at Fairview.
Hello everyone, thank you Abby for having me today.
All right.
Okay, well, it's a blessing I guess that Miss Vine took me last year at the midst of the pandemic. I was actually planning to have an early retirement.
Wow.
And when I heard Mr. Como retirees come back to work, so I posted myself, I said, let me see who needs me, and that's where I will go, whoever needs me. And I think it's a blessing that Ms. Vine took me
100%.
right away within 24 hours.
Ms. Vine, for those that don't know, this is our administrator.
Ms. Vine on the phone asking me to come over, and without a doubt, because it's just very close to my home, and I said yes.
For those that want a little bit of context, what we did here at Fairview, we made sure that once the pandemic hit, we made sure to get staff, making sure that all the needs are met, especially being that there were so many different restrictions and things that, so many different adjustments that we had to make. So we were getting staff to be able to help us and assist in time of crisis. And the fact that now things are all slowly opening up, and we were able to now build a relationship and really see the good work that you were doing for our residents and staff members. We are so happy to have you here. So first of all, tell us, what are some of the responsibilities and the things you do here so our viewers can see?
On day one, when I asked her, okay, Ms. Vine, what do you need from me? This is who I am. She said, well, I want you to continue whatever you were doing from your previous job, being an educator. I was the director of staff development. She said, you will be doing the same thing in here, only that it's a different whole scenario because of the pandemic.
Yes.
We were going to do our orientation almost every day to fill in the staff. And because they were so short of staff, we availed the opportunity, that the Department of Health gave us.
So I did want to tell our viewers, when the pandemic hit, residents, not only in this facility, but all over, it was a worldwide pandemic. Residents, staff members, people were not feeling well, so we made sure to have the staff here necessary to cover all those cracks, let's call it, making sure that everybody is safe in a time of crisis. And I actually observed you in while you were teaching the new staff coming in. I saw how you were really showing them every single step of the way, how not to be afraid, how to be there for the patients, whether it's wearing the PPEs and doing all these different type of jobs, new type of jobs, because of all these different requirements from the state. So let me ask you a side question. What made you become a nurse?
Well, it's a long story. It's a journey. I think being the eldest child of 8 siblings.
Wow, 8 siblings.
And my mom was a sickly person. We even lost her at a young age. So I think psychologically you grow fast, and you learn how to take care of people at a young age. And of course, in those days, it's usually like I belong to that culture of patriarchal, and fathers knows best, said, you will be with the nuns. And so I ended up becoming a nurse. So that's it.
40,
I became a nurse.
Can you imagine 40 years to be in one field? I mean, any field you do, but especially nursing, where you give off a lot of yourself to another person. What do you do to stay motivated and active and not burnt out?
Well, being a nurse, for me, nursing is not just a career or a job. Nursing is a vocation.
Wow.
It's not an easy job to do. It's like even at the end of the day, you're so tired and exhausted, but when you wake up, you remember your patient, you still get up and said, look, I know my patient would need me. I need to be there. So that's number one motivation. And even with my with my journey as a nurse, pursuing a career, pursuing a higher education, it's always the patients who had motivated me.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, when I came to this country in the 80s, what health crisis we have now is similar to the 80s when we had the HIV/AIDS. And the fear that we have among our staff, it's almost similar fear of getting sick, because at that time HIV we don't have a treatment neither, just like the pandemic. But it just so happened COVID-19 is more fatal than HIV. You can easily get COVID-19 and you can die, right? Especially with the elderly. But it doesn't stop you there. And for me, being a nurse, no matter what title you have now, no matter what higher education you had, for me, I always enjoy being at the bedside. My vision when I was pursuing my higher education in nursing, I said, if I'm going to have a higher education in nursing, I will still be the nurse at the bedside.
You want to be in the field with the patients.
Who will roll up the sleeves and do the dirty job no matter what. And it's very humbling to say that at the midst of pandemic, I still have the joy of staying at the bedside, help my staff do the post-mortem care. When being, and now I would say you are a nurse leader, you have to be always there for the nurse to give them the support, because deep in my heart, I know it's not an easy job.
Yeah.
It's not.
100%.
It's not an easy job. And we are not perfect. We are not perfect, but we always try. And I have strong faith that, we will keep always our heart open to learn. Because being a nurse, you are also a lifetime learner.
Wow.
Even for now, I've been more than 40 years as a nurse. I still learn, especially with this pandemic. We learn a lot.
I love that you're bringing that up. It's interesting, and I always say this: doctors can be in the field for 30, 40 years, and they still call it a practice, because we're constantly practicing, we're constantly learning and evolving and growing. And like you said, the pandemic was a great example where how all the team leaders, everybody came together and was really able to help people survive this crisis that we were all in. And I saw how you were working with the staff and encouraging them and helping them and showing them, because even though we're here, think about it as a vessel. When we give to others, for example, when you're driving, when you're flying in an airplane, and they always tell you in the beginning, when the masks, if there's in the time of need or if there's an emergency situation and the masks come down, you have to put it on yourself first. We're talking about the oxygen masks. Put it on yourself first and then put it on somebody else to make sure that you're protected. And your job here as a staff educator, you were here for the staff, showing them how to make sure that they're equipped to be able to help our residents. Because being a nurse is not an easy job. It's definitely very, you really give your heart to somebody else and kind of help them through their moment of difficulty. So what's your secret of success?
Well, as I said, first of all, I'm a very goal-oriented person.
I know that. I've seen that many times.
Something that always inspires me. And this is one thing, never give up. Even if sometimes you'll find a staff or a resident or a family that it's challenging, never give up. It's sometimes you want to say no, but no, don't say no. We just have to continue and see things in a different perspective. Even if you think that you have done all the interventions that you're supposed, we have always think of, sometimes we need to step back a little bit and see differently, because sometimes you might think that you've done everything. We just have to be creative, and this is where our creativity comes in. As a nurse, you need to be a creative person too. Because not everything is coming from the textbook.
Right, I agree with you. They say in the field of, I'm a psychotherapist. You're in the nursing field. So they say when working with people, yes, it's part science, but also part creativity, because you create a treatment plan for every single person in a unique way. And I know specifically here, where we have the team meetings, where we have the interdisciplinary team, where everyone works together, making sure that the residents get what they need. Also, the main takeaway is, for example, when you're working with a lot of different types of people with different types of ailments, we want to make sure that they come here and know that they can be cared for. So that's the main takeaway. So when working with many times, like different types of staff, what's a message for all the staff that are watching this? Because I know, many different doctors and nurses and CNAs and LPNs are watching us today. What's a message you can, first I want to ask, what's a message you can give to residents and then to staff? So we'll start with the staff first. If there's one message you can give to anyone that's in the healthcare field, what would that message be, coming from someone who's been in the field for 40 years?
Okay, as I said a while ago, never give up. And the other thing is, always think this way. At the end of the day, no matter what you have done, always think of this, that we or you make a life, you make a difference in the life of the person. Whatever we do is priceless. You cannot put dollars and cents into it. We cannot be, I know it's not easy when you will say you're on duty, you're just thinking about the 8-hour shift or what, but it's, whatever we do, it's priceless.
Right.
It's priceless.
There was a quote, they say, they may not remember your name, but they will remember how you made them feel. So that's, that's the main takeaway. It's not about, I'm not on shift, I'm not on duty, it's not my thing. It's all working together as a team, and really at the end of the day, making a difference, trying to help the patient, So what's a message you can give to a resident in a hospital sitting right now watching this live, or thinking about coming into a rehab? What's a message that you can give to them?
Well, I just hope that every single nurse, every healthcare worker will have always a heart, compassionate heart, to take care of people. And I always say, please, I always say this to the younger people, always remember with your heart, because memory fails as we grow older. But I learned it from my dementia patients. Even if they cannot recognize you, they know, they can feel who you are. If you are the person that takes care of them, they will be always coming to you. But if they don't feel that energy that you really care for them, they will try to go away and run away from you.
So the main takeaway here is, working in healthcare, obviously you have to have a component being there for another human being, being there for another individual. We here at Fairview, for those for those of you guys who visited us, who came here, who interact with the staff, know that we're very much involved with the patient care, and we want to make sure everybody gets everything that they need, and especially somebody like you who helps, who's not only there for the patients but there for the staff also, making sure that the staff's vessel is full and being able to give to others. That's very important. It starts with self-care. Self-care is very important. Whatever field you're in, if you are a nurse, a social worker, a doctor, a pharmacist, a hairdresser, it's very important to make sure that you have the tools to be able to help others. I really want to say thank you so much for joining us in this live, and for all of you guys who are watching, if there's any questions you may have, please feel free to send us a message. We are going to be so happy to hear from you guys. Take care, everybody.
Thank you.